Hi folks, Electric Jen here, and I just want to talk a little bit about change. I'm here as a passenger driving in the Tesla Model S on the Atlantic City Expressway on my way to the shore. I've got my handsome husband driving, and his hands are on the wheel, but we do have autopilot going. Anyway, the reason I want to talk about change is we came to the shore. We went to Wildwood, New Jersey last year, just about this time actually, to celebrate with some friends, which is what we're doing again. And a lot can change in a year. That's just true of life, that's true of work, it's true of everything. But what it's not usually true of is the car you already own. So I just want to talk a little bit about how this trip is different than our last trip. So 1 year ago, there were no superchargers on the way to the shore from Philadelphia to the South Jersey shore. We were headed to Wildwood, New Jersey, and while we could probably have made it round trip, we did have two friends with us and their 1-year-old son, so we didn't want to, risk running out, especially if there was traffic to or from. So we ended up finding a very generous owner in Wildwood, New Jersey, who helped us out, so I thank you for that. But yeah, basically it required some planning and a little bit of stress because the hotel we stayed in didn't even have a 110 that we could use, and it was, drama. I wanted to make sure we were safe. It was one of our first, it was our first really time having a 1-year-old in the car for a long period of time. So it was important to us that everything goes smoothly. Here we are 1 year later, and we are on our way to the great Egg Harbor Township Supercharger. It just opened a few weeks ago. Just in time for the 4th of July holiday and the rest of the summer travel. So I'm very grateful for that, and it's interesting that places we've been just since we got this car in late 2014 are much easier to get to now than they were when we got it. So we all know that Tesla's supercharger network is one of their main competitive advantages. It's what enables long distance travel. It's the only electric car on the market right now that can go across country, and it's really interesting that they're working so hard to develop these superchargers on very highly traveled routes to enable popularly traveled routes every day, every week, every month. That again, this trip that we're making just 1 year later is much easier now. We happen to be going to a different beach town where we could have easily gone round trip without the charger, but we're going to stop and check it out anyway, see if there's any other Teslas there. And it's interesting, and last fall we went to Vermont and had to use a paid public charger, just about $2.50 worth. That's the only pay charger we've ever done other than parking garages. But if we had gone back just 2 months later, there was already a supercharger there. So in 1 year things have drastically changed in terms of availability of superchargers and the routes that have been enabled. So that's one thing that's just really amazing, that our experience has already changed in a year. There's a second thing. What's happening right now beside me is that my handsome husband, who's now smiling because he's on camera, for once, he's using the autopilot features of the car. His hands are on the wheel, but the car's driving itself. And 1 year ago when we made this trip, it did not do that. I don't recall the exact timing of whether it had the traffic aware cruise control. I think it did. Actually, I think it did. It definitely did by that time, by summer of 2015. But again, a year ago our car was dramatically different than it is today, and we have not spent extra money on it. We have not traded it in for a new model. Our car is now doing a lot of the basic functions of the drive to the shore. We, or the driver I should say, is responsible for managing the system and watching the road and general oversight, but he's not personally responsible for the speed or the lane keeping for the vast majority of this travel along the Atlantic City Expressway, which is a lovely divided 3-lane highway with a pretty generous speed limit for these parts. I think it's 65. And using autopilot exactly as intended, so that you can spend more of your energy focused on the surroundings rather than the mundane task of keeping speed and keeping lanes. So anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how in just 1 year our car that we have not traded in, upgraded, spent any additional money on, has gotten that much better. Just this very trip down the shore from Philadelphia, 2 significant changes in 1 year. The fact that there's a supercharger now, and the fact that the car is essentially handling most of the driving tasks on this highway itself. So that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about. So thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and you know, good luck to the other automakers, because these competitive advantages are big ones. You know, it's a real game changer that your one-year-old car can get an improvement. You know, so anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. And once more, for posterity's sake, my handsome husband is never on camera. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.